Thank you so much for calling in, Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually Kenneth's friend. I'm over at his house right now. So.
Oh,
Oh, sweet.
Kenneth is trying to double up on that Fakhamah midnight line, isn't he? I know Kenneth. I know he's doing that.
Yeah, actually. Well, no. So we're just waiting on you to be able to answer what kind of hookah he has.
Oh. Well, the best guess that we had was a Turkish or a Syrian style hookah. It's definitely beautiful. He said that it was very heavy. Do you guys smoke out of it very often?
We've smoked out of it a few times. And also too, I called it. I said it might be Turkish.
Very nice. You're better than us at the AM Hookah Podcast for sure already. Do you have any questions for myself or for Adrian?
No. Other caller pretty much asked it. How's y'all's days going?
Very nice.
Just going good.
Maggie is there too, I guess. Tell Maggie that I said hello. I hope she's
Hello,
enjoying her
Maggie.
MIG.
Maggie, they said hello. We're actually smoking out of the hookah at the moment. But
Oh, snap.
Very nice.
What was the?
I think he's asking.
So
something.
actually, yeah, there is a question. So
Okay.
why exactly do you guys prefer traditional over modern?
Did you
Okay,
say?
yeah.
Did you say why do we prefer traditional over modern?
What do we prefer?
Oh, what do we prefer? Okay. All right.
Yeah, kind of what do you prefer, and if it is traditional, like what's your reasoning based on that?
Okay, cool. We'll answer that off of the air, obviously, real quick. But before we let you go, I want to ask you, what is your definition of a traditional hookah?
I really agree with like the made by mallet, just like made by hand, not really like in a factory or something like that. Like actually has time taken into it, you know, polished and and the fact that it has those little defects in it make it personal.
Okay. Very, very, very nice. We will now answer your question off the air. Thank you so much for calling, Kyle. Appreciate it a ton.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Bye.
Take it easy, man. Thanks for calling.
Okay. So, what do you prefer, Adrian? Traditional or modern?
It's really hard. But if I'm being completely honest, I am a little bit romantic about traditional hookahs and they're great. But I hold on to my modern hookahs and I'll tend to like give away my traditional hookahs pretty quickly. That's because my traditional hookahs are very cheap. They're normally cams. But I have to say modern just because the quality is always very consistent. You don't have like those weird weld lines and stuff like you do with the traditional hookahs. And to be honest, I like the aesthetic of a modern hookah quite a bit. Although the aesthetic of a traditional hookah is awesome too. But like being forced to pick one, I'm going to say modern.
Rob just said, yeah, the Starbuzz US stuff is very reminiscent of the older generations, but with a modern flair. Prometheus and Regal both ride that line as well. This is the very last one right here that I'm going to be showing off. This is
a cafe.
It is. This is a KM. This is kind of like the generic model that they have. It's a 3-hose one. It is a very simple, nothing crazy, nothing unique really about it. It has tape on it because that's the only way I could get it to fit back in the day, and I just never took it off. Yeah, it's just very simple and nice. But like KMs obviously come in all shapes and sizes. You saw the black pear, you saw the Ferroni, and now you've seen the simple cafe as well. All simple stuff, obviously. So just some cool things in the mix for KM. When it comes to modern versus traditional for me, for a long time, I would say that traditional was my favorite. I would probably say that I love traditional with my whole heart. And nowadays, even though I definitely appreciate and still am very nostalgic towards traditional hookahs, I would say I definitely prefer a modern hookah nowadays. I prefer the draw of my Carbon 1. I prefer the draw of my Like Smoke hookah. I like a good modern hookah. I've been a very big fan of those for a long time. Yeah, I would definitely have to say that the draw and just kind of the build quality. I know that there's nothing wrong with KMs or Siri or the one that starts with Sheikah's hookahs. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with the build quality or the materials used. I just really like the overall aesthetics and the stuff that a modern hookah really brings to the table. So that's my personal opinion. I am going to leave the phone open for just another minute to see if anybody else wants to